Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson, and I'm here with Oscar nominee Cyrus Neshvad, director and of the nominated live-action short film The Red Suitcase. And Cyrus, I just want to start off by saying you've made a lot of short films throughout the years. You've been selected to be in over 300 festivals, but here you are with your first Oscar nomination for The Red Suitcase. So congratulations, first of all. What was it like to receive that news? How did you celebrate? And has it sunk in?
Yeah. So I was with my family, and then actually, yeah, it was some kind of sinusoidal because we hear the first four names, and that you're already not, you're already out, you're already abandoning, and suddenly at the last one, it's your name, I mean, the name of the movie appearing. So yeah, it was nice to hear. But the most important thing is for me that by getting nominated, we can actually be more visible about the visibility to put a light on what's going on in Iran and on the woman being killed right now when we are talking.
Yeah, as you're watching those nominations, it's alphabetical. So the suspense. Next time you need to make movies that all start with A or B, so you don't have to wait for so long.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Denton.
The film itself is about an Iranian girl in the Luxembourg airport who is in a terrifying circumstance. And this red suitcase we see coming down the conveyor belt is at the center of it all. Can you talk about the inspiration of the story and what brought you to write and direct this film?
So my family is Iranian, so I have lots of members of my family still living in Iran. So my parents get the connection irregularly to Iran and what's going on. So, to inquire about our family, how they are doing. And recently, 2 years ago, they were telling already to my mother that a lot of women are disappearing, as soon as the hijab is not well put, or when you say something which is not, liked or against the regime or something like this. Yeah, just women are disappearing. So it was, and they would never appear back. So that was terrifying news for me. And on that time, I said, look, if I know this, I really need to talk about this, and I don't want so much a documentary or something. So I put it in a live action short, actually. Yeah, begin with a girl with a hijab coming in an airport. The idea of airport was also to put it in a place where people are going on the holidays, people are having joy, people are happy, and this girl is somehow trapped and in those big spaces, and that's how it all began.
Well, and it's interesting because an airport is also where an Iranian might face specific discrimination or prejudice. When they see this suitcase coming and she's nervous, people like immediately think bomb, and that's sort of the prejudice that we've been ingrained with, over the years. Was that sort of your intent in doing this, is to show some of those prejudices, and that you really need to peel back the layers before we understand what this person is actually really going through?
I mean, I myself, it was a condition for me, because I got so many judgment. I went so much through this, getting arrested for no reason. One time in Paris, I got arrested in my car because they thought I stole it, with no reason. I had to get out, I know this very good. I grew up with this. I know what this means. So in the first 5 minutes, for me, it was very important that we still don't know what's going on. So what's happening, the audience is already judging, She has a hijab, she's standing there, there is a luggage, so there is a bomb. Be careful. So the police is coming and they arrest her. So as the audience also wants she to be arrested, and watch very carefully what's going inside. It's red bomb. And they open, and suddenly it's nothing there. There is Persian pistache, there is some tissue, and actually it's a tender contenu in this luggage with drawings, paintings, and so on. And then still the audience will think she might have stolen it, So I needed to answer on this question. If she stole it or not, steal it or not. And then they see that there is a signature of the painting according to the signature of the passport. So now we have the evidence that she didn't steal, and it's her luggage. So this is exactly 5 minutes which I wanted to use to go through this prejudice. And after this, we have to go further in the story.
And the focus is on one actress. So casting was important. Can you talk about casting the lead and how you found her and what impressed you the most about her performance?
So we did a casting in, I did castings in Luxembourg, so we found Persian girls and so on. And for me, I was not convinced, and so we had to, it's difficult, a girl talking Persian and so on. So I opened my researches to Paris because, yeah, I knew some people who could organize this. And there we had 15 girls, and there was one top three. And actually, Nawal was the right person for the reason that she's a very good actress first, but she has the same origins. She's Maghrebian, and she has this patriarchal, all these things. She know what means the hijab, what heaviness it has if you have to wear it about this. So this she knows, but okay, that was one point. And then we played this scene with the hijab. And actually, when she has to take it off in the casting, it was really, I had the feeling that she's living everything herself, so tense for her that she was even not thinking about playing. So she was doing things I didn't predict, even it, the tears and so on. And it was very easy. So it was already her. After straight the casting, it was her, and the rest was just work and rehearsal.
And just for some people who may not understand, can you talk about what that means to remove the hijab in public and what the ramifications for that can be, either internally for how someone is feeling or, in terms of politically or even legally in some countries?
So in Iran, if you go back during time of Muhammad, it was a way to protect women. A man was allowed to have few women to protect them, so they had to not show their femininity, to not give the appetite of other men, let's say. So at that time, perhaps this was good, but long time ago. Today is not actual anymore. Today we want to say, okay, why she has to keep the appetite of the man? The man has to control himself, But these things is all in this hijab, some like the belonging to the man, And in this hijab, it's all inside of it. Like you belong to your man, who is allowed to have lots of women if he desires. In Iran, you need the woman needs the consent written of a man to go abroad or to do things. The woman has to be in the order of man. So all this is included in this hijab. This means then when you take it off, it has a very strong message in it that you are not accepting all this. And that's very heavy for the regime to accept this. So they begin to punish. This girl, Mahsa Amini, who was killed, because it's the first time somebody filmed this, or, this news came out. Because right now, everything what's happening in a bull, girls disappearing, dying, and nobody knows them. And Mahsa Amini is the first girl, this news came out. What happened to her? She was 19, coming from a very poor family. So like my actor, I inspired myself for Mahsa Amini. And suddenly they were arrested because she had her job not till here, but till here. So few hair was out. They brought her somewhere, they hit her so much, and she died with an internal traumatism.
Oh my gosh.
Just for having the hijab. And she was even not careful about it. I don't know if it was windy that the hijab went out. She didn't intend to do this. And from that time, everything crashed, and the news came out, and the whole world got a view on that through Mahsa Amini and her death.
And it's also sort of interesting how different this is in a way she's trying to disguise herself, because, in Western culture, we might put on sunglasses or a hat to disguise ourselves, and she's actually revealing more of herself to disguise herself because of that cultural difference.
It was very interesting for us that you have to take off in order to hide yourself. Yeah. But for me, the metaphor part to take it off was very important. That's why she had to watch in the lens of the camera to invite all the other girls around the world to join her in the action and to take off the hijab. That's why I told her, watch in the lens, She said, yeah, but normally you should not. I said, no, trust me, watch in the lens. It's important that the message is going to all the people. And actually, it's not that she's taking off that she's hiding, because the fact she's taking off means that the woman hair are coming out. So somehow the woman part of her saves her. So it's connected.
When you're making a short film, how do you acquire someone to build the score for you and the music and help you build that intensity up in the film? Because it's a very tense 18 minutes that we see, and I think the music was so important to the film.
Yes. First of all, I didn't want that as soon as there is some suspense, there's music. So I was telling to the music writer, when she's coming for exchanging and the guy is passing in suspense, don't put any music. Because the suspense is there, let's not put this double music. You will bring this much later, you know. And when you bring it, it has to be some instruments which gives the sound of the airport, like it's a sound of an airport. So he went there, he stayed there and listened to the airport to put this small note, which was a sound he was hearing in the airport. So the music is getting somehow sound design, you know, like in existence. Why it's so important? Because if you put too much, you come out of this reality. And it's also important for me that we believe in all this, like we are really there, not that it's just a movie. That's why the camera had to be handheld. That's all the stuff had to go in the same direction, the same than the music.
And we see at some point an ad of a woman whose hair is out, and you really focus in on that for a while. What did that signify for you?
So my screenwriter is French. He said, you are talking about a woman, but you should know that abroad also it's not easy for the woman. Let's bring some kind of equilibrium in all this, you know, not paying bad and good guys, you know, because here also it's difficult. And we decided also to show that this harm to women is also existing abroad, you know, it's not white and black. And that's why we decided to put everywhere posters in the whole airport of women used sexually to sell objects. So it's kind of discrimination of the woman, using the leg, the naked leg of a girl to sell bags, using the mouth, beautiful mouth of a young woman to sell pizzas, using the décolleté of a woman to say champagne. And at the end of the movie, I wanted to insist that it's our last shot because she's out of the problem. We don't know what will be her future, good or bad, but right now she's free. And then we are focusing on this commercial where is a beautiful woman with a big smile and beautiful hair, smiling, happy, and selling shampoo. And when we go slowly closer, slowly we see that her face is not that happy and that she might even be terrified. And on this note, slowly we finish the movie.
Wow. I'm curious to hear from you as an Iranian filmmaker. How did you initially get exposed to film? You know, what type of films were you initially attracted to that brought you into this career and gave you this dream to become a filmmaker?
I have to say that it's the grammatic of the US directors, which began for me with Alfred Hitchcock. You know, you can tell whatever you want, but the grammar is some kind of collecting shots to tell a story very visually. And I loved his movies, and he inspired really to learn his grammar, because I think also Steven Spielberg took over the same grammar, coming to Brian De Palma and all this young generation who took the same grammar. So I was inspired for this grammar, but telling my own stories.
And when you're telling stories like this, how are you painted in Iran as a filmmaker? Are you sort of, you know, poking the bear a little bit? Are they upset with you when you're telling stories of hijab?
If I would be in Iran, exposed like this with the Oscars, I would be already dead.
Wow.
It's very easy. I mean, the regime is going bad now. For me, the country is like a body, yeah? And this regime, since 1979, is like a virus in it, you know, putting down the country, and the virus is like killing them. And now this manifestation and everything which is done, all this young generation going in the street fighting for the woman, makes that we are fighting this virus, and which makes that the country is very angry. The regime, they use every small detail to punish you, and they have the order in if they want to turn and shoot people. So imagine my movie is coming out there, and I have some success being nominated, I mean, I'm arrested, I'm in the prison. And it happened a lot of directors in Europe.
So have you come to the, are you at peace with the fact at this point that you're just never going back to home, to where you came from? Is that how you feel?
Yeah, it's an evidence. I will never go back. Wow. It's an evidence. It's even not discussable, you understand? It's too dangerous.
You've been making short films for quite a while, and I mentioned earlier that your work has been shown at hundreds of festivals. What do you love the most about short films and the art of short filmmaking?
I'm not a short film maker. I'm waiting for funds for doing my long movie, and actually I got my funds some time, and it was all taking time. Still we place it, and I decided to do another short movie. And for me, there is no difference between a short and a long movie. It's the same work. It's like you're saying to build in a building of 3 apartments or 30 apartments. The work you have to do, put the foundation, put the bricks and the windows and so on, is the same. There is no absolute difference.
Have you thought about attending the Oscars? Has that set in? Are you what are you the most excited about on Oscar night?
I have to come. As I said, you have to be there on the 12th. The 13th is the pictures of nominees, so I have to be for 1 month. Yeah, so I'm coming in the unknown. I don't know, but you should just know that because I'm Iranian, I'm Luxembourgish. I'm from Luxembourg. I have the papers of Luxembourg, but in my pass it's written that I'm born in Iran. So I was rejected. So I was fighting to get my pass to come.
Goodness.
And I blame nobody for this. My country did bad stuff and bad reputation. It's falling on all the other Iranians now, because as soon as you show as an Iranian, you have problems. It's because of the country. It's not because of the US, of the ambassador and so on. We have to pay the price for it. And I accept this totally. So they wanted to know if I have a terrorism, this I'm connected to Iran and so on, which is total normal questions. So once they did this, they said, okay, we will discuss and we will send you later your passport.
You mentioned Steven Spielberg, and he's nominated as well. If you run into him at the ceremony, are you prepared for what you will say to him?
Yeah, I will try already not to cry before saying something.
Well, I'm hoping for you that happens, and you're certainly on the right track. Oscar nominee Cyrus Neshvad. It's been a pleasure to speak with you today, and good luck with the Red Suitcase. And we look forward to seeing you at the Oscars.
Thank you so much for having me, Denton.